Hey everybody, welcome back. I got the Cobalt finished. I'm going to show that and give a little bit of an update on some other things I got going. But anyway, we'll start with the Cobalt. And I think the paint came out pretty good after I did a little extra work there where if you remember, when I had this stripes here that just didn't really seem to do anything. Well, what I did is I took leftover decals. These were from the Bob Glidden Plymouth Arrow. Just happened to be some blue and red stripes that I didn't use because I think they changed the sheet, that they had the wrong color, so they sent an updated supplement or something, and I ended up with some extra stripes. So, but anyway, short story long, that's what I ended up putting on there, and I kind of matched it on the scoop. And I think it looks good now. With the decals and the clear, I think it really looks good. I had an old NASCAR decal sheet that for I think a Monte Carlo or a Lumina or something, and I just trimmed up the headlight decals to put in there, and I think it worked out pretty good. And bottom grill decal there, that was from one of Slick's decal sheets of grills and headlights. I believe it was a late model new style Mustang, and I just did some trimming on it, but it worked out pretty good. And under the hood is nothing fancy. I had made a front belt drive distributor for it, but it wouldn't fit under the hood, and I got mad and ripped it out and put the conventional in the back. Got a little smears on the windows, which I have that happen often, but this thing fought me at the end. I used some tape to put the windows in, and when I took the tape off, the adhesive stuck, so I had to use some thinner to try to get the adhesive off, and most of it came off, but it just like anything else, you try and things go wrong. So I'm not complaining. I mean, it looks good to me. Go around the back part of it. The tail lights there, I put some chrome paint and then some clear red paint, just brushed it on, and they came out pretty nice. The spoiler, that was from one of the Pro Stock Oldsmobiles. I just narrowed it because I noticed the car that I was kind of building this off of, it had a spoiler just across the the deck lid, not the whole width of the car, so that's kind of how I went to. And the wheels, these rear wheels were they're 3D printed. I got them off of eBay. And the front ones I've had for a while. They're not available anymore. And I think I had 2 sets left, and I'm going to try to cast some. They're going to be really hard, but I think I got it. I did 2 molds now that kind of failed, and I learned something from each one, so I think the next one I might be able to actually make a mold for it. I'm still waiting on my silicone rubber and my resin, but I think I can do it. Gotta have confidence. Okay, that's the Cobalt. Now we got the update on the bench. I had intentions of cleaning up the bench before I made this video, but good intentions, they don't always work out. But I got the cage done for the Holden. Just painted that this afternoon. Just painted the base of the chassis. I got to do some detail painting there on the brake lines and stuff. Did some filling on the roof because this is a 3D printed. It had a lot of, well, you can see it on the deck lid, I think. Let's see if I can get this camera to, I guess it's not going to focus there. Yeah, you can see the lines in that. Well, up on the roof it had, a bunch more, and they were like kind of circular from the print, I guess, from the machine. And it was a little bit low, so I filled that in, did some sanding and filling. And I think you saw before I had the hood cut out. I think I'm going to do a little bit more, take a little bit more off of here, just to just because I want to. I don't really want to bulge like that. And I'm going to take that spoiler off the back and make like a regular wing. So that's pretty much all I got done on this car. I did. I think I'm going to put a Hemi in that, so I'm going to use one that I made. A piece that I cast. There's a blocked oil pan. I'm going to use a Lenco that I cast to save my plastic. I have a Fiat body here. I'm going to make an attempt at making a mold and try to make another body. Now this body had the wheel wells cut big. This was I think the Scott Sullivan flag car Fiat body. And I tried to match it to the other Fiat that I have because I don't really like the big cutouts like that. And I figure if I can fill it in, then I can always cut it out if I want to for whatever I'm going to build. But that's going to be my first body that I try to mold. I started a box. I found this corrugated plastic at the Lotus store yesterday. So I made a box, but now I'm thinking I should have not assembled the box yet. I should have just left the flat platform because I got to clay up the whole inside of this body. I got to fill that all with clay. Sorry, I'm just going crazy with the camera here. I don't have the tripod, I'm just holding it. But anyway, I got to fill the whole thing with clay in there and then put it in the box and pour halfway full with silicone, and then take the clay out and pour the other half with silicone, and hopefully I'll have a two-piece mold. I got some new paint yesterday at the hobby store. I was out of primer, so I had to go, and I got some Mr. Color metal. That's iron and aluminum. I used to use cast iron gray a lot, spray paint, so I'm kind of hoping that iron will be kind of like cast iron gray. And I have, oh yeah, here's my my scoops that I made. Working on these parachutes because I want to make molds of them. Excuse me. I made some parachutes, but these are, I use a lot of them, so I'm gonna. These are ones that come double. They're together like that, and I cut them apart, fill the one side, and putty them up a little bit. So once I get them done, I'm gonna make molds. I'll be able to make 2 at a time. These are the scoops. The first scoop that I poured, I think I might have showed that in the last video. I'm not sure. Had a empty spot there, so I filled that in with some styrene just to see if I could. I'm not, I don't need this thing for anything, but I just want, it's a test piece, and it seems like it's going to work. So I poured another one with a new vent, and I got some air pockets there too, but again, they can be filled and used. Now I just tried a different method. Instead of pouring through these holes in the top, I turned it upside down, basically like this, and basically poured the resin in there and then smashed down the top part, which is how I'm going to do the body when I get to that. So let me see if I can find that. I took it out of the mold. I thought I put it on the bench here. Okay, there it is. Yeah, I took it out of the mold this morning, and it was still sticky. This is just clay that I was filling the holes with. But it didn't come out bad either. I mean, it's got some flashing. And down on the bottom, it's got a little hole there. If I trim it off, and I'm sure I can fill that in too. You'd never be satisfied if you buy a resin piece that looks like that, but when you're doing it for yourself and you got time, at least I feel, I just work with what I have. If it's usable, I'll use it. If it's not, I'll throw it away. And I'm still trying to decide what the next project's going to be while I'm working on this, so I can be working on 2 at a time. And I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm leaning towards a 55 or a 56 Chevy, or an Opel GT, or another Pro Mod. I don't like to keep building the same things. Like, I try to change it up a little bit. Like the last 2 cars were drag, well, everything I build is drag cars. But if I'm doing an exact replica of something, then I try to make the next one that's just out of my head. And the last thing I finished was that Cobalt, that was just out of my head. This car is out of my head, so I almost feel like I ought to do a replica of something next. But I'm going down through my list, and I'm not really feeling it, for any of them. But I'll come up with something. And I guess that's about it for now. Except for, oh yeah, I'm going to cast a whole bunch of wheels here. I got wheels laying in my box. So as soon as I get my silicone, I can make those molds. And these other wheels, yeah, I don't think I mentioned that yet. These other wheels that I've been trying to do, and this is the vent that I'm holding it with. Camera's not focusing. Okay. So the fill tube, this one still has a fill tube. I have two different styles of wheels here. And the first mold was a fail because I failed myself really, but I only had detail on one side of the wheel, the other side was just like a flat back. So I made another mold, and I didn't have enough silicone, and I tried an experiment, which I shouldn't have done, but didn't want to keep waiting for the rest of the silicone, so I used regular old silicone caulk in a tube, just to cover the top part. The wheel was actually covered, but the fill tube and the vent wasn't. I think maybe the wheel wasn't all the way covered, but almost. But anyway, long story short there, apparently that silicone did not play well with the resin, and the resin never activated. Like, I tried to take it out of the mold this morning, and I got resin all over my hands, sticky, gooey, and even lacquer thinner wouldn't take it off. So apparently that's some kind of a chemical reaction there. So I'm going to make my third mold for those wheels, I guess, when I get my silicone. And if it doesn't work this time, well, then I'll just say the hell with it and not have those wheels. But I really would like to have some more of them. Oh yeah, I'm also gonna try to cast this rear. This is from Oldsmobile Pro Stock, and the seat is also from the Oldsmobile Pro Stock. So I'm gonna try to cast that. I mean, I made a bunch of seats, but I don't have any like this, and not that I use them often. But yeah, hey, I'm from the old school that it's to have it and not need it, to need it and not have it. So I'm making everything. And if I don't ever use it, I only lost a couple dollars worth of silicone. But if I need it, I can always cast it. If I don't have anything made, I'll have the molds. I'll be able to make it. So that's about it for now, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. And thanks to all my new subscribers. I'm amazed that I keep getting more subscribers here, because this channel is, I don't feel like I have a good quality YouTube channel compared to a lot of people, but maybe it must be interesting to somebody. So thanks a lot, everybody, and we'll see you next time.